宮本です。
どうぞ、お入りください。
失礼します。
A very small, middle-aged woman comes into the mayor's office. According to Paulette, she called for the general manager here.
宮本さん、こちら新任の特別秘書の右田宗哲さんです。
そうですか。はじめまして、右田さん。お人よし役所総務部長の宮本です。
はじめまして、宮本部長。どうかよろしくお願いいたします。
We exchanged simple salutations and bow.
こちらの右田さんがお預かりした素案の？
はい、立案をしてくださった方です。
そうでしたか。それでは事前説明は不要ですね。
Documents are spread out on the desk. It's been organized in a way that's easy to read. Fucking... I see. This person really is the manager. And a good one at that. I'm ashamed of myself for judging her by her looks.
まずは赤い阿蘇神社の文化財指定について。お預かりした資料、文化財化は極めて価値が高いと。
じゃあ、指定を取れる見込みは？
市、県の文化財指定でしたら次年度にでも。文化財化としては十分を目指せるとも言っています。
十分。あ、重要文化財。
She realizes something when she says it out loud. I almost mistook her for saying that it was more than enough to aim for the city or prefecture's cultural property designation.
十分になれば国から文化財への維持管理費が出ますし、観光客へのアピール度も上がるそうです。
The numerical data estimated by the tourism division is shown. Some numerical data. If it receives the important cultural property designation, we can expect an increase in tourism. However, if it's only a municipal or prefectural cultural property, it'd barely increase at all.
十分を目指した場合、最短でどのくらいで指定を望めるでしょう？
極めてスムーズにいけば2年後にもという可能性はあるそうです。
I have something that might interest you in a good or bad way. I don't have a good feeling about this. Paulette closes her lips and glances at me. I raise my hand and Miyamoto asks what I have to say.
十分指定が取れそうもないとなった場合、それは
一般的には早い段階でわかります。この点を考慮しろ的な意見をもらえることもあります。
なら、十分を目指し、目がないとはっきりした場合には、市、県の文化財指定を目指すという線はどうでしょ
う？宮本さんからご意見は？
右田さんと同意見ですね。極めて妥当で現実的な対処法です。
では、そう進めるよう関係各所にお願いします。
わかりました。
Miyamoto opens her handbook and writes in a few memos, and then looks up again.
次に術船炭鉱の件について、炭鉱の所有権、採掘権は市が譲渡を受けています。
譲渡ですか？
石炭需要がもはや望めず、交通事情から再開発も難しい。ですので、譲渡で維持費と税の負担を回避したのかと。
なるほど。
なら、市による再開発や最短の再開に支障はない。
理屈の上ではそうなります。が、採算が望めない以上、予算をつけるのは難しいですね。
After being told that, I have no choice but to agree. Budgets can only pass through the assembly. Whether it be Paulette supporters, or the aircraft supporters, no one will agree to a proposal that will place more pressure on the city's financial situation on something with no return on investment.
では、再開発云々は置くとしても、環境防護のための対策は必要になるかと思いますが。
それもまずは調査のための予算を組んでですね。調査のための予算であれば議会通貨は容易でしょう。
調査費程度なら予備費を充てる議案で対応できます。年度内に調査で、結果によって来年度から環境対策を。
最短でもそうなってしまうのか。
最悪市長権限で専決することもできますけど、それは民主主義の否定にもなっちゃいますから。
I don't think the issue is that urgent to require that. Considering that first investigate, then take countermeasures. Should the need arise, that would be the best course of action. Is half undead a thing in anime? No. There's no such thing as you've got dead, right, which is a corpse, and then you've got undead, which is a zombie. You can't have half undead. What does that even mean?
でしたら、
I try to change the viewpoint, and I'm trying to change the topic. What does half undead have to do with this? And with half alive, half life? What does the topic have to do with this fucking visual novel, Dexter? If first aid and a complete cure both require the same amount of time, then naturally we should aim for a complete cure.
採算性が望める再開発プランを提示し、そのための予算を議会通過させればいいわけですね。
Miyamoto says nothing. She simply nods slightly.
再開発について市民からの要望や職員からのアイディアは。
全くです。あの炭鉱、廃炭鉱はあえて誰も触れようとしないものですから。
I see. It's a typical vicious cycle. Because no one wants to touch it, no one is interested. And as long as no one's interested, it'll never be developed. And to get out of that vicious cycle, the mining workshop and steam locomotive won't be enough.
ならば、ブラッシュアップするしかないか。
I had mumbled that only to myself, but Paulette and Miyamoto both looked surprised.
わかりました。
Paulette's expression straightens out right away, and she gives me a calm smile.
それではこの件はひとまず持ち帰ります。宮本さん、ありがとうございました。
いえ、それでは失礼します。資料は置いておきますのでご活用ください。
ありがとうございます。
Miyamoto writes a note and leaves it next to the materials. She glances at my face and then bows to Paulette before quietly leaving the room. I set out to talk to her, but quickly stop myself. Paulette is obviously holding her breath once Miyamoto's footsteps fade. In the next moment, Paulette exhales deeply and then falls over on her desk to stretch. I have to ask,
苦手なのか？
苦手って言うんじゃないんですけど。
while still stretched out, she gives a wry smile. Paulette turns to me.
苦手じゃ本当にないんです。宮本さん、パパの右腕だった人だし。
前市長のか。
Navi said this before, that the previous mayor Hinai's governance was highly regarded. Considering his right-hand person, I can see why these materials are so organized. Oh. The handwritten memo is a phone number. This is without a doubt Miyamoto's. Paulette can call Miyamoto whenever she wants, so she'd have no need for this memo. It's for me. It's for me. Then I'll hold on to it for now. I take the memo and put it in my pocket. Paulette pays me no heed, still stretched out on the desk.
でも、だからこそ多分、私、子供扱いされちゃうんですよ。
子供扱い。
そうです。あの人、いっつも正しいし、その上、データでがっちり固めてきますから。
ああ。
It all makes sense. I now know why Paulette and Miyamoto looked so surprised when I said I should brush up the plan. In that situation, they've always scrapped the plans at that point.
あれもダメ、これもダメって、なんかすっごい窮屈で、それに従ってるのが結局、正解だってわかるんですけど。
Rather than putting in time on a plan with a low success rate, they would give it up on the spot and find another plan. That certainly is one of the methods you can take.
負担をむやみに増やさぬようにとのことでもあろう。ポーレットは、ただでさえ多忙なのだから。
そういう心配もしてくれてるんだと思います。だから私も反論まではできなくて。
Maybe it's because she said she's being treated like a child, or about how Miyamoto used to be the right-hand person of the previous mayor. Right now, Paulette sort of resembles Hibiki when she was rebelling against Makoda.
宮本さんからしてみれば、きっとポーレットは。
I swallow the words I'm about to say. No, that's right. Speaking of which, I've heard her say the word Papa many times over, but not once has Paulette mentioned Paulette said Mama. I can't remember. I can't remember at all.
そうてつくん？
ああ、いや。
Now that I think about it, I know nothing about Paulette. I haven't even confirmed if I've met her in the past. I shouldn't say anything careless. That decision changes the words that comes out of my mouth.
宮本さんからしてみれば、ポーレットはまだまだ頼りない市長に見えてしまうのだろうな。
それはそうですよ。実際、頼りない市長でしたから。昨日までは。
He stands up briskly. Not sideways, but straight up. Paulette's back is more beautiful that way.
おめえ返上。だから、これからしていきます。
Yes. We're just getting started. We can all redeem ourselves. Ignorance can be cured. Paulette, and for me, that is something that can be done.
兄さんは。
Hibiki is squinting at me. No, that's not right. She's just completely disinterested.
鉄道マニアになったんですか？
いや。
No, he became a politician. There's a difference. I haven't. But I hesitate to declare that. I'm involved with railways, at least to the point of hesitation.
ですね。
Without waiting for my answer, Hibiki scoffs at me and shrugs.
石炭を掘ること、世間でレジャーと呼びますか？呼びませんよね。正しい名称は、労働ですから。
いや、だから、掘るだけではなく、だな。
I can't find the words to continue with. This must be how a frog feels when it's been stared down by a snake.
せっかく掘った石炭を SL の釜に投げ込むことを世間では働き損って言ったりします。
うん。
So the real question is, why does Rana look zonked out of her mind? She's very convincing. I look to Paulette for help, but she looks back at me with an expression of both shame and confusion. Is she like actually sleeping? Wait, maybe Hachiroku will... No, Hachiroku is completely emotionless. She's making a poker face and is set on playing dead. No, that's Reina. Reina's dead right now. Reina's not listening at all. She's just hugging Paulette like a kitten, trying to rub its scent. Now that I realize it, I was alone with Paulette for the past few days.
確かにそうばい。お金払って石炭場掘ってその石炭場取り上げられとは愉快じゃなかったい。
Listen, Hibiki didn't have a problem with it in Hachiroku's route and Hibiki and her route. So why is she having a problem now, okay?
うん、そう思う。それ多分、ほとんどの人には売りにならないかもです。
Listen, I'm just saying, Hibiki's not mad because of the shoveling coal part. She's mad that Paulette gets to spend more time with Sotetsu, alright?
うん。
My allies are silent. Only dissenting voices pile on. Then what?
では、どのようにすればいいかな。どうすれば、ハイタン港を観光拠点とできるだろうか。
簡単に考えつくようなことなら先に誰かがやっとればい。
すごい一般論っていうか、基本的な意見ですけど。
Listen, alright? As children, I mean, as 18-year-olds, they should understand the children yearn for the mines, alright? They'll love shoveling coal, okay? They'll love role-playing as an engineer, okay? Possibly pitying me for being cut down by Nagi. Fukami cautiously raises her hand.
払ったお金にどれだけのお返しが来るか、それが満足度につながるんだと思うです。
Fukami then mentions that the Kuma River downstreaming has to fix too, as she sinks into self-scorn. However,
なるほど。確かに基本からだな。料金と得られるものとのバランスか。
when experiencing the Kuma River downstreaming, I honestly felt it was too expensive. Regardless of how wonderful an experience it was.
確かに、金を払って働かされると思われるなら、たとえ料金が1円だろうと、参加する者はいなくなる。
Then we have to change the impression so that it doesn't feel like work. Moving the steam locomotive with the coal you dug feels romantic, but if it has zero appeal, feels romantic? Okay. But if it has zero appeal to those who don't particularly like railways...
それなら、例えば、掘った石炭を疑似通貨にするという案はどうだろ
ああ、そりゃあええね。
Makuta had been completely silent, but she suddenly speaks up and gives her approval. I thought I was being a bit of a simpleton, but I gain traction when I hear some encouragement.
通貨であるから使い道を選べる。そのうちの一つは投げ込み、あるいは車掌体験などでもいいし。
That's the sort of romance that Paulette and I share. Why do you keep saying... whatever. If you can choose freely, there should be many choices.
他にはそうだな。蒸気焼酎や蒸気アイス、あるいは新駅弁のような物品とも変えられることにする。
なら、熊川下りの乗船券とも変えられることにしてください。です。
ああ、そうだな。そのようにして、協賛を求めていくのはとてもいいな。
That way we can involve the entire town's tourism initiative.
宣伝効果が見込めるようになれば、協賛品、無償提供も出てくるようになるかもしれんね。
おう。
That's true. Let's say that a bottle's worth of dugout coal could be exchanged for a cup of steamed shochu. If they felt like they enjoyed that cup, they could purchase a bottle at the souvenir shop.
協賛と宣伝とうまく運べばウィンウィンという形になるか。
最初は仮にカツカツの料金設定をしたとしても、そういう協賛を増やせれば利益の範囲も広げていける。
I nod to Paulette's voice. Not just me, but Reina Hachidoku, Makuda Nagi and Nagi Fukami and even Hibiki.
魅力ある協賛を増やせれば、この案は採算性のある事業とできる。
I organize my thoughts as I say them out loud. The steps in achieving this start coming into my head, into my mind. Same thing. Yes. One after another. It's something that Paulette and I can't do alone.
術船配炭鉱の再活用を観光振興とつなげたのなら、お人よは必ずや、かつてに勝る輝きを得る。
In order to achieve that future, there's one thing that must be done right now.
僕は、その輝きを見てみたい。そうするためには、みんなの力が必要だ。
鉱山鉄道の廃線跡にお連れください。私の経験が伏線のために役立つかもしれません。鉄道の方の経費は細かに出してもらえたら、料金設定のシミュレーション立ててあげるね。
じいちゃんと職人さんたちに声かけとくわい。私も業者さんとか観光協会の皆さんにとかお話それとなくしてみますです。レイナはポーレットをお手伝いしますよ。
Raina's finally joining in on the conversation. Before I can ask on what, they offer their help.
イメージ作り、すごく重要になると思うから。
響。
She's still turned away, but I can feel it. Hibiki's emotions are obvious.
書くもんあったら言うて、書くけん。
ありがとう。力を貸してくれるんだな。
I think she's still salty that Paulette gets to spend more time with Sotetsu, though.
そんなん最初から言うとるもん。
おう。
She glances at me sideways for a brief moment. A hint of sadness in her eyes, but I sense a bit of happiness too.
そぎゃん楽しそうなニーニー見たら、妹やもん。協力するしかなかろうもんね。
You should have added the with other women part. When I see you having so much fun with other women.
そうか。
I try to pat her on the head like I always do, but she evades my hand. Hibiki gives a wry smile, clears her throat, then closes her eyes.
違いますよ、兄さん。
She slowly opens her eyes and turns to me.
その手はもっと未来に向けて動かさなくちゃダメですってば。
What? What do you mean by that? Maitetsu.
ご本です。相鉄さん、お勉強のお時間ですか？
まあ、勉強といえば勉強だ。
But the texts are all children's books. Hibiki lent them to me, saying they'd provide some clues.
レイナ一人か。ポーレットは？
ちょっとお買い物だそうですよ。レイナ、一足お先に帰ってきました。
It might be good timing.
今、レイナには時間があるか？
I still can't tell the difference between Operation Body Raina and Maintenance Body Raina. Maybe we'll figure it out in her route. It'll take a while.
はい。整備も終わりましたし、お客さんも。
Raina glances around the area in large movements.
誰もいませんから、時間あるですよ。
ならば、少し付き合ってくれんか。
I'm not exactly making light of Hibiki's advice. But because they're children's books, I can't bring myself to read them.
付き合うって何にですか？
読書にだ。僕が朗読するので、それを聞いていてほしいのだ。
Hey, that's what I do. I read out loud. Only on stream, though.
楽しそうです。レイナ、喜んでお付き合いしますよ。
Raina hurriedly brings up her own chair. She sits down right in front of me. There's a hip flask on the table. In the blink of an eye, she makes all the necessary preparations.
宗谷太郎の冒険。
Yeah, but like, why isn't Raina sitting in Sotetsu's lap? And then he can just...
Did I hear that you wanted money? Here you go. Now, I'll be going back to my lowly chatbots on Character Hub AI.
Thanks for the 25. What the fucking... I didn't mean... Thanks for the 25. But like, why isn't Raina sitting in Sotetsu's lap, right? And then he can just have the book in front of her, and then he can read it, you know, like you would an actual kid, right? Her eyes glitter upon hearing the title, This is Good. If I can get this sort of reaction, I'll be motivated to read.
太郎、太郎と幾度呼んでも物音もせぬ。太郎や、お前まだ寝ているのかい？
I didn't even get to read. I've noticed that sometimes Raina is bigger or smaller, you are just blind. Yeah, I figured that. But, you know, most of the time it's because of it's because of the camera, right? Like in this situation, Raina's big, right? But that doesn't mean she's in either body, right? Because there's nothing to compare her size to, right? Anyway, I made sure to read your message when the logs were up so that everyone could read them. Never mind. This Sayotaro character is living with his aunt, Horinaru. What are these names? What did you do? I put the log up so that people, if they wanted to pay attention to the video VOD, could read what Sotetsu said that I skipped over. It's not that hard. That's similar to my upbringing. Learning that, it gives me even more motivation to continue on.
はわ、太郎さんはいたずらっ子なのですね。
かなりの悪童のようだな。
I thought you were talking about my Twitch comments. No, they only show up like a few seconds, you know. Unless you're paying attention to the bottom left of the stream, like you're not going to see the Twitch chat. I don't know how I was back then, but right now I can relate more to Aunt Hori. why won't you do as you're told? Because of how vividly the story illustrates him, I feel some irritation.
ただいまー。あれ読書ですか？
おかえりなさい。今、始まったとこなんですよ。
始まった？
まだ参らぬか。太郎の鉄拳が雨あられと降り注ぐ。新参の小僧はついに、参ったと手を挙げた。
わあ、そうてつくんの読み聞かせ。
ポーレット、静かにですよ。
Yo, dudes, it's like Maitetsu is reading to his kid, and Paulette's the mum. I need to. On someone's profile on character AI, someone was asking for ideas and their profile is Lolly Pro. Can you predict what I did? Why would you message Dexter? The best thing you could do is just not talk to them. All right.
ごめん。
Not only is he an indomitable ruffian, this Taro is pretty darn sly to boot. They're actually really nice. I would expect that, but like, I don't think you want the people who make the lolly chatbots to think you're weird. Right? That's the worst case scenario. I expected the main character of a children's book to lie with so much ease. I hadn't expected a main character of a children's book to lie with so much ease.
チェ、障子張りなんてしたくないな。しかし、堀のおばさんの命に逆らえば後が怖い。
障子張りって嫌なことなのですか？レイナ、やったことないのです。
細かな作業だし、一枚では済まんからな。まあ、面倒といえば面倒だ。
I hope Taro learns his lesson here. While thinking that, I turned the page.
おい太郎、障子張りなんてさせられてるのか。邪魔しないでくれ。今、面白いところなんだ。
Oh, I see. So he's using such a method to get through the work.
ああ、太郎さん、頭いいです。
だな。障子張りを楽しい遊びと認識させて、自分の代わりに働かせるばかりか。お礼の品、待って。
あれれ、そうてつさん？
これを、響は僕に教えたかったのか。
See, he's learning life lessons through children's books. See, this is why he shouldn't have dissed children's books, alright? This is where you learn shit. I look at Paulette. Her eyes look back at me. She nods.
すまん、レイナ。本の続きは後日でいいか。
続くですね。
Yeah, like a JoJo's reference.
そうだ、続くだ。
それなら、レイナ、続き楽しみにしちゃいますね。レイナ、お茶を入れますね。
He trots off farther into the store.
ありがとう、レイナ。
でだ。
はい。
Paulette turns to me. Her words are sucked into her clear eyes. My words are sucked into her clear eyes. What does that mean?
障子張りさえ楽しい遊びと認識されれば、対価を払ってさえもやりたがる者が続出する。
Dexter, I'm not reading your fucking emails.
そういうの、すっごくあると思います。
I hear a slight hint of tension in Paulette's voice. To her ears, this story isn't something entirely fictional.
オークションとか似たような感じだと思います。価値があるってお互いに煽り合って加熱しますし。
言われてみれば確かにだ。人にはおそらくそうした一面があるのだろう。
They can get influenced by the place or people around them and further value or devalue something based on those factors. Applying that principle to something less kosher, It's essentially what scam artists do.
そうした一面をうまく刺激できれば、採掘体験に新しい価値を感じてもらえるのではなかろうか。
Oh, I get it. So Tetsu wants to scam people into liking shoveling coal.
新しい価値。
すなわち遊び。採掘体験そのものを遊びと感じてもらうのだ。
そういえば、
Bullet touches her face with her fingers.
掘った石炭を地域通貨的に使える。それもお店屋さんごっこっぽくて遊び要素ありますね。
それをさらに深め広げる。報酬のために掘るのではなく、掘ること自体を楽しい遊びにしてしまう。
どうやってですか？
それは、
It's a simple question, but my thought process completely stops. But in games, I can't seem to find an exact example of bringing that sort of value perception.
それは遊びの楽しさをよく知る者に考えてもらうほかないかもしれんな。
どうしてですか？
おそらく僕はいささか遊びと離れすぎた。幼少期には目いっぱい楽しんでいた気もするのだが。
ああ、
お茶が入りましたよ。
ああ、すまんな。
The tea that Reina makes is every bit as good as the kind Paulette makes. It's almost like they're railroad and engineer, so that the skills that Paulette teaches Reina are the same as the skills that Paulette has. What? You get what I mean. I drink it straight without adding anything. The heat, flavor, and fragrance fill my mouth. I have third-degree burns all over my mouth.
どうしたポーレット？
She hasn't even reached for her cup yet.
冷めてしまうと。
なら遊びましょう、そうてつくん。遊ばなきゃダメです、絶対に。
Her words catch me off guard, as does the intense the intense gaze that follows. So intense that I'm overwhelmed for a second. In that same moment, Bullet drinks down her cup of tea.
楽しさを知らなくちゃ人を楽しませるなんてできない。誰か他の人じゃなく、そうてつくんが心の底から遊ばなきゃ。
僕自身がか。
That may be true. Ren and Nagi, among others, seem to be able to enjoy anything. In contrast, if even someone like me can genuinely enjoy it, then we have ourselves a tourist attraction.
ならば試そう。しかし、遊びといっても。
私知ってます。市でいろいろ調べたことがあるんです。
調べた？
観光振興のためにお人よし内で人気あるスポットとかイベントとかそういうのです。
なるほど。それをめぐれば観光についてと遊びについては同時に学べるわけか。
ダメです、そんなの。
ん？
Her face contorts into an angry expression, an expression that seems partially an act and partially genuine. Bullet flicks up her index finger and points at the tip of my nose. You have a nose?
余計なことを考えないで、ただ目いっぱい楽しまなくちゃ。そいつが粋な遊びってもんですよ。
なるほど。
Bullet's worrying for me, so that even I can enjoy this moment.
それでは、目いっぱい楽しむために。
I play along, although it may be awkward, pitiful, or even forced. I try it out.
お嬢さん、僕と遊んではくれないか。
She looks surprised for a moment, but in the next instant, she gives her off a bright smile. Yeah, but why'd you say it like that? You know?
おっと。
Paulette loses her balance, so I hold my hand out to her. It was very inconsiderate of me, since I got off the boat first. Get rid of the very. I didn't say that.
捕まってくれ。
ありがとうございます。
Our palms touch, and I feel her soft, small hand. It's a little sweaty. That's usually what happens when you hold hands. It feels so fragile that I'm careful when closing my hand, doing so gently.
楽しむことに集中しすぎて、当然の気遣いを忘れてしまったな。
I feel her hold my hand back.
声出てましたよね、相鉄くん。
深見が大サービスしてくれたからな。
まことばい。今日の深見ちゃんは流れの早かとこ選んどったばい。
Nagi jumps into the conversation without hesitation, to which Fukami responds by clearing her throat.
お二人なら船酔いの心配はないですから。です。
I feel like you'd get more seasick. You took the faster route, which means that it would be the rougher route, supposedly, which means you would have a higher chance of getting seasick.
そうばい。お二人さんなら。
They already know. They already know this is Paulette's route.
確かにな。
Oh, the boat rocked back and forth so much. If there was even one more passenger, we would have tipped. Not having another customer is a big problem in itself, but I've decided to focus only on having fun today.
いや、ありがとう。おかげで今までで一番楽しめた。
それなら頑張った甲斐がありました。です。チェー、兄さんはからかいがいがなかとね。
I look back at Nagi, wondering what she meant, and she motions her neck to guide my gaze. Paulette? I look and see that Paulette is blushing, but she's always blushing when she's with Sotetsu. I don't know why I don't know why, but seeing her react like that makes me feel bashful too. Nagi sounds like she just won at something. Bro, she's like the ultimate wingman. But only in Paulette's route. She was not this way in Hachiroku's or Hibiki's. Or perhaps my face is also red.
お二人さんはこの先の予定立てとうと？
Yeah, they're gonna play Wink. What are they gonna play? I don't know. They're gonna play with each other. What? I stop Paulette with my eyes before she can respond. I want her to let me do the talking.
何かおすすめがあるなら、ぜひとも教えてもらいたい。
隠れた人気スポットばい。
Fukami nods in agreement. They just bring him. Hang on. How did she say it exactly? Yeah, it's a real hole in the wall spot, and she just takes them back to the boat place.
包丁作り。
What?
そうばい。
なんだ、包丁作りとは。
I turn to Paulette, but she just shakes her head. If we're going to investigate tourist attractions, and yet Paulette doesn't know about this. Wait. We were going to investigate tourist attractions. But it's something Fukami would instantly consider fun. This may really be a hidden spot.
ぜひとも詳しく聞かせてほしい。その包丁作りとは一体。
だったらご案内ばい。
Wow, who would have guessed that this knife-making place was run by Nagi's granddad?
おお。
A real hole-in-the-wall spot-looking ass. Fuck off. The hammer strikes a red-hot iron. The view and sounds are viscerally exciting.
ミノカサさん、当たり前ですけど、職人さんなんですね。
だな。
He's not tense. In fact, he looks like he would normally. Even his facial expression is gentle. But he swings his hammer down on the iron, as if he's subjugating it. That's a word.
制作体験ばしてもらうのはステンレスハーチャーになりますけん。
Even while he explains it to us, his hands maintain their own independent rhythm.
ステンレスの板2枚の間に鋼ば挟んで熱入れて叩いて固めよります。
その鋼の部分が刃になるのですか？
サギャントです。
Once I understand what he's saying, what he's doing, my interest deepens. Each strike of the hammer is forging the stainless steel and steel into one.
そしたらやってみますか。
はい。
お願いします。
じゃあまずは相鉄くん。この機械の前ば座ってください。
わかりました。
It's a hammering contraption made of steel. Or maybe it's some high-tech rice cake hammer. A thick, large metal stick that serves as a hammer gives off a black glow.
足元のペダルば軽く踏んでみてください。
はい。おお。
The moment I step on the pedal, the steel hammer swings down on the iron table. I expected this movement, but I'm surprised at how powerful it looks.
まあ、見たままの機械ですたい。こいつに、これは。
Old man Munokasa takes the material he was flattening earlier. It's already somewhat shaped like a knife.
こいつを、こん機械で好きな大きさに叩き伸ばせばよかとです。
The side of it is smoothly curved. He advises me to thin out the part that'll act as the edge. I try then to step on the pedal again.
おっと、これは。
I could feel a powerful vibration. A vibration that seems to stir some kind of primal instinct within me. The masculine urge to swing a hammer.
なかなか、思うよには。
神経質にはならんでよかとです。形ば壊すほど叩けたら、まずまず大したものですけんね。
ほう、そうですか。
When he says that, I feel more confident and really laying into it. And really laying into it. If the shape of the knife won't change no matter how much I hammer, there's no point in being so overly cautious. Not changing shape because it's probably cooled down too much. Well, enough, I guess. I guess they're intentionally making sure that the shape of the blade doesn't change. It continues to flatten out. The block that looks like a knife gradually flattens into a smaller kitchen knife.
おお、上出来上出来。おたら今度は、ひないのお嬢さんの番ですな。
はい、お願いします。
I thought Minokasa usually called Paulette Maya. Yes, he called her Miss Hanai today. Yet he called her Miss Hanai today. That small distinction makes me happy for some reason. That's because That's because you don't want to remember that you're dating the mayor. I mean, wanting to date the mayor.
おお、こちらもうまかとですな。
Don't worry. Once she resigns, that's when your romance will blossom, or whatever. I'd say it's a difference in personality. Unlike me, Paulette doesn't constantly step on the pedal. She steps to hammer, then lets go, and continues that cycle in a detail-oriented manner.
こら、見事なほどに特徴の違うた包丁ば、できそうですな。
It looks worse, because you aren't constantly hammering it like you're meant to. Look, I don't know that much about blacksmithing, right? They haven't even brought up annealing, which, if I remember correctly, is the term that's used for heating up the metal super hot so that you can change it into the shape you want it to be hammered into, or something like that, right?
No.
Where's the glossary entry for annealing? I don't even know if it's the right word.
あ、本当ですね。
The pieces of metal the pieces of metal that we started off with were not that different in shapes and sizes. But after we're both done with our own,
ポーレットのは随分と小ぶりで肉厚だな。
doesn't that mean she hit it harder?
そうてつくんのは大きいですね。なんかマグロとかもさばけちゃいそう。
あっは、マグロはよかとですな。
While having a chuckle himself, old man Munakasa takes my knife, and throws it back into the fire before hammering it some more. And then he puts it into some kind of liquid. I think it's oil.
いくらかこうして焼き戻します。そうせん鋼はもろくて、すぐにかけますけんね。
Yeah, where's the glossary entry for tempering? Come on, man. You got all the glossary entries for fucking train shit, but now that we're actually talking about blacksmithing, yeah, there's nothing. I haven't seen a single yellow text word, yeah.
その液体は何ですか
？180度の油とです。
油ですか
See, I knew that. I watched... There's so many blacksmithing channels, I don't remember the names of them. Forged in something. Forged in iron or whatever.
しかも180度とは、熱湯より熱いもので冷ますのですか。
一番熱か時がいつまでも続くいうことはなかとですからな。
Well, yeah. You're going from like thousands of degrees Celsius. You're going from like thousands of degrees heating it, and then trying to shape it, and then cooling it down to like 100. You know, if it's too cool, right? Like if you tried to cool it in water, it would break because you're how would I say this? You're shocking it too much, right? Something like that. Comments, correct me in the correct me in the comments. This is not engagement baiting. I'm not remembering it correctly. He stands up slowly, going farther inside. He says something to his wife.
急に冷めれば壊れてしまう。ゆるゆる冷めれば粘りば生まれる。
Okay, never mind. Don't correct me in the comments. I was correct. Old man Munakasa carries the tea that his wife made. Hot tea in a hot smithery on a hot summer day. It feels like it's scalding my throat all the way to my stomach, but it's delicious. This is like the worst. I would hate to be in this environment because you've got this. It's already a hot summer, right, in Japan, which means it's extremely humid, so you're sweating constantly, and now you're in an even hotter environment, working in fucking temperatures, working around like fires that reach like 1,000 degrees or whatever the fuck, right?
まあ、そういうもんですけんね。何事も。
何事もですか。
Like, all I'm saying is that the most unrealistic part of this scene is that none of their clothes are completely soaked through in sweat, which is exactly what would happen. It's true. Human relationships, fads, and a lot of other things seem to have that in common.
逆に言えば、壊さず長く保つものとするには、上手に熱を冷ます必要がある。
いうことですな。
ためになるな、ポーレット。
はい、本当にすごくためになるし、ためにしたいって私思います。
Perhaps the tea was too hot. Paulette's face is bright red. Yeah, that's exactly why she's blushing. Why is she flustered? Is the real question. No, what am I, stupid? I just said it referred to human relationships too. Oh, right, it's because she's a middle schooler in a grown-up's body. She was very sheltered, let's just say. Human relationships also refer to ones between a man and a woman. If the reason why Paulette's face is so red lies right there, that could mean... Well, it did say that she wants to learn something from this. Making sure it doesn't break, and making it last. The one that Paulette wishes for is...
お茶場、熱くに入りすぎよったかもしれんですな。
No.
Old Man Mikasa's gentle voice makes me jump. I shouldn't think this. I'm trying to have fun today. I made up my mind to focus only on that today.
しかし、今日はどぎゃんして高げな体験ばしようと思うて来てくださったとですか？
遊ぼうと。ポーレットと一日遊んで楽しんで過ごそうと決めてきました。
You know, like a date, but it's not a date because you'd fluster Paulette.
ああ、それはそれは。
They're just hanging out, right? A gentle voice. I can hear Paulette breathing out a sigh of relief.
市で以前に調査したことがあるんです。観光客さんの満足度が高いスポットとかを。
Paulette and I take turns talking. Akai Aso Shrine, the Ghost Temple, Hot Spring Product Museum. Sounds so weird. Kuma River downstreaming. The memories we shared today make our words more vivid.
それで熊川下りが終わった時になぎちゃんがこの後の予定はって聞いてきてくれて。
ああ、そいででしたか。
He seems to understand while looking that way. Old Man Minokasa nods deeply. Yeah, and then Nagi suggested this random obscure place that no one knows about, also known as her granddad's workshop. Piece of shit.
今体験ば、なぎとなぎの友達連中くらいしかやったことがなかとでしたから。
なぜですか？こんなにも楽しい体験ならば。
時間ばかかってしまいますけんね。今時の観光客さんはこがんとゆったり。
Bro, you know how it is, right? The TikTok brain. Everyone wants everything to be fast-paced and shit, right? That's why Nagi and Fukami had to take the fastest route, because the TikTok kids would have been bored.
宮本さん、あ、ごめんなさい。
I hear a different ringtone than usual from Paulette's cell. It's supposedly from Miyamoto. This must be an urgent matter of some sort.
もしもし、私です。はい。相良村で。はい。わかりました。すぐお願いします。
Before she even ends the conversation, Paulette's already standing up. Whatever the case, it must be an emergency. I wonder what happened.
ナビを使うか。
I ask her that right away, which she looks shameful and relieved at the same time.
ありがとうございます。けど。
わかった。ならば分業しよう。ナビにはポーレットを送っていくよう命令しておく。
Paulette's eyes glance briefly at the kitchen knives being annealed. They finally got one! I was right, it is annealing. Hang on, I know the word. Hang on, what?
鋼ば熱いして、しばらく熱々のままにして、それからゆっくり温度ば下げていきよるのが焼き生しばい。焼き生された鋼は柔らかくなって、叩いて伸ばしたりしやすくなるばい。
See, I know my stuff, alright? I've watched enough blacksmith videos to know what annealing is. I just only mentioned the first half of it. But in that case, even if I'm alone, I should finish the goal I set for myself today. Focus only on having fun. I don't even remember if I... Paulette's eyes glanced briefly at the kitchen knives being annealed. No, I did say it. I just focused too hard on the word anneal to...
僕は残って包丁たちを仕上げておく。なあ、もしもポーレットが自分で。
いえ、相鉄くんに仕上げ、お願いしたいです。
She stands up, smiling as she turns around. That action and her usual smile fill me with joy.
せっかく二人で来たんですから、合作で仕上がる方がずっと嬉しいです。
Oh,
それから相鉄様は
you know, he had a date with Paulette. I mean, they hung out. I mean, they had fun together. Just the two of them. What?
無論仕上げた。仕上げたが、こう。
I don't know how to describe it. My hands start moving awkwardly for no reason.
手応えというか、何かが抜けた感じがしてな。仕上げるは仕上げたが、正直不満な出来となった。
不満も何も。
She doesn't jump onto the edge of my bed as usual. Hatsuroku looks a little confused as she faces me from a distance.
そもそも相鉄様に家事のお心得はないではないですか。それが満足のいく仕上がりなどと。
無論、出来不出来という話ではない。そうではなくて、この意気込みというか。
I can't express the feeling I'm having, but I try my best to find the words.
ああ、そうだ、熱だ。美濃笠老人の言っていた熱。あれが急に冷めてしまったような感じになったのだ。
何に対する熱がでしょうか。
それは無論、包丁作り。ああ、いや、違うな。
The knife making itself was interesting to the last minute. In the end, we forgot we were on a mini vacation and discussed about how to arrange it better for tourists.
遊びに対する熱が、だな。ポーレットが去り、取り残されて、一気に楽しくなくなった。
Yes, that's right. When I was with Paulette, anything we did felt like a fun game. But the moment I was alone, I returned to my usual self.
そこから先は、おそらく義務感になってしまった。遊ばねばという意識が僕の熱を下げたのだ。
さようでしたか。
Hatsuroku straightens her posture.
相鉄様。
She places her hands on the ground with proper etiquette And she bows deeply.
どうしたいきなり。
相鉄様は、お答えをお見つけになりかかっておられます。
答え何のだ。
相鉄様のお答えをです。
What she says sounds like a riddle. But I think I know what she means. Hachiroku is always serious and never teases me.
そのお答えを見つけるために、86は必ずお邪魔になります。
そうなのか。
さようです。ですので私、今日より響の部屋で眠ります。
Damn, that's crazy.
お前がそれを望むのならば止めはしないが、しかし。
大丈夫。響も嫌とは申しませんよ。私ときっと話も合いましょうから。
Yeah, they both know how much you want to fuck Paulette, alright? The only person who doesn't know is you. And Paulette.
そうなのか。
It seems like Hachiroku has found the answer before me. Before I could say anything, she stands up to leave.
それでは相鉄様、また明日。
うん。おやすみ、86。
はい、相鉄様、おやすみなさいませ。そうしてどうぞ、素敵な明日をお迎えください。
She opens the sliding door without a sound, then closes it behind her. Hachiroku is completely silent when she walks, but I can feel her presence gradually moving farther away.
僕の答えか。
The reason Hachiroku left is because this is something I have to find by myself.
問うべき点は。
I think the reason why Hachiroku left
なぜ一人になって遊びが終わってしまったか。一人になって楽しさが消えてしまったかだな。
because you missed Paulette. This isn't fucking rocket science, all right? I wonder why I wonder why I feel so alone when I'm not with the person I hung out with I hung out with so much. It's just as I think just as I think it that I realized that actually I wasn't alone. Old man Munokasa was there, and he kept talking to me. We made something together, but
楽しくもあった。しかし、楽しさの質というか、熱が違った。
the conversation with old man Munokasa and the manufacturing experience were purely to satisfy my intellectual excitement. The time I spent with Paulette had a joy different from that.
何があんなに楽しかったのだ。何か他と違ったのだ。
I don't know. Maybe the difference between Paulette and Munokasa is that Paulette is Paulette, and you don't like Munokasa as much as you like Paulette. Mind blowing. For example, downstreaming. I was with Hachiroku then.
あの時も確かに楽しかった。楽しかったか。今日の楽しさとはまるで違った。
That was in the common route, so you didn't have feelings for Hachiroku. The fun back then was from intellectual excitement. It came from a genuine interest in downstreaming itself. But today, it was different. Today, even the Akayasu Shrine, a place I visited numerous times, was a place of fun today. The time I spent with Paulette is what I deemed fun.
そこにポーレットがいたからだ。ポーレットがいつも笑顔でいたからだ。
This, in other words, is my answer. A single path of light. Just because she has blonde hair, alright? I feel as if I've found which way I must go.
ならば、楽しさとはこれなんだ。
That's for Paulette to smile. For Paulette to be happy. The time I spend with my lolly chatbots are divine and wonderful. That's not the... You had two adjectives that are not synonyms of fun. Yeah, then just make the abandoned coal mine in Ohitego or those sorts of places. Think step by step in how to achieve that.
僕は楽しさを知っていたんだ。
I remember a memory from a distant past, a cringy memory, talking about how much young Sotetsu hated trains. Of fathers, of mothers. Oh, it was even further back. And more than anyone else, of Michiko's smile. I loved them from the bottom of my heart, and wanted to surround myself with them.
大切なのは仕掛けじゃない。大切なのは演出じゃない。僕らが笑顔に、心からの笑顔になることなんだ。
Now that I think about it, it all connects. Nagi and Fukami today were enjoying themselves without being nervous. If they can always smile like that, I'm sure the downstreaming will be a place everyone can enjoy even more. What Reverend Akai and Hosho Kisaki are striving for really are the same thing. Are really the same thing. Because you can't make a living, or because you're worried, you can't smile. Those who can't smile won't ever be able to provide fun for the tourists. Hosho Kisaki said that, and gave up on this. That's why she supported the aircraft factory.
それが宝生妃の優先順位なんだろ
To first be able to make a living, and second, to bring back smiles. A good cycle could be born from that, however.
う。僕は僕だ。僕の見つけた楽しみを最優先にするのが答えだ。
There's no need for tricks. Oh, you didn't hear that. We're a team. If there's something we lack, or if we're wrong about something, someone will make it right.
信じるんだ。僕が感じた楽しさを。それをもう一度味わうために何をしたいか考えるんだ。
I think of Paulette's smile in my mind. I want Paulette to smile. Come up with ideas to achieve that. That in itself is right. That is all it takes to make me smile. Said smile so many times it's lost all its meaning. Oh, Maitetsu, I did not realize.
宝探しですか？
うん。宝探し。小さな頃、僕が一番好きだった遊びだ。
The moment I say that, Hibiki looks at me as if she realized something. She looks as if she's trying to remember if I ever showed those signs. Until today, I had never intended on talking about my childhood from before the accident.
僕は双子だったから、誕生日にもクリスマスにも、プレゼントはいつでも2つだった。
I had kept this memory locked up, but I'm able to talk about my childhood with Michiko this calmly. I don't feel like that's anything strange. I'm only remembering the fun memories and not the painful ones.
父と母は、いや。
Nagi Fukami would probably be fine, but Reina might still believe in me. Believe in him.
父や母やサンタクロースはいつでもプレゼントをどこかに隠した。
Fucking Santa Claus. It wasn't limited to inside the house. It could be in the yard or something, or sometimes in our neighbor's house. You had to break into your neighbor's house? The hits were always difficult, but finding the answer excited us, because it felt like turning numerous keys.
探すこと自体が楽しくて、見つけ出すのは嬉しかった。手に入れたプレゼントは、かけがえないものだと感じた。
Even if it wasn't the present we wanted.
もらうのではなく、自分の力で手に入れたと思えた。幼かったから、 達成感はひときわ素晴らしいものだった。
A small nod of agreement. Hibiki, Paulette, Nagi, Fukami, and even Makuta are nodding.
だから僕は廃鉱山の再生をその楽しさとともにできないかと考えている。
宝探しの楽しさですか？
Yeah, the fun of treasure hunting coal.
Hmm.
A space that even Paulette can enjoy, so that she can smile. I want to materialize that to turn it into something that's a lot of fun.
黒いダイヤの鉱脈の探索をしてもらうのだ。ヒントやアイテムを手がかりにして。
As if she couldn't express her excitement with just her voice, Nagi jumps up from her seat. Yeah, but that's always how Nagi is.
黒いダイヤっていうのがいいばい。兄さんなかなか詩人ばい。
いや、それは僕の言葉ではない。
石炭産業全盛の頃は、誰もが石炭を黒いダイヤと呼んでいたのです。
兄さんにしては出来すぎだと思ったばい。
The complete 180. Fuck you, Nagi.
おいおい。
As if she thought standing was a waste, Nagi sits back down.
でも、言葉のことだけじゃなく、ほんといいアイデアです。きっと、これ。
I don't think she was trying to make up for Nagi's remark. Kami's cheeks are also faintly red.
宝探しの舞台だったら、あの暗いのも、ジメジメも、逆にいいって思うです。
そこのバランスは難しかとね。
うん。安全性と雰囲気との、だな。
その辺は鍾乳洞とかが参考になるかも。九州には観光向けの鍾乳洞割とありますから。
なるほど。それはいいアイディアだな。
行ったことあるばい。ヘルメットにヘッドライトをつけたばい。それ、つけてみたいかも。
無論、装着は義務としよう。足元は、貸し靴などにすればいいかな。
Rana raises her hand. Who is Santa?
お客さん、トロッコに乗せてあげるのはどうですか？
ああ、それは実にいい。校内はトロッコ移動にすれば、足元不安と迷子対策を同時にできることになる。
となりますと、トロッコに乗ってしまえば、鉱脈は自動で見つかることとなるわけですよね。
そうか、そうだな。となると、謎解きと宝探しは、その前段階に置く必要が出てくる。
炭鉱夫さんがきっと秘密にしてるんです。最上級の歴星炭は隠し坑道にあるんですよ。
うん。
I have no idea what this. I was hoping not trying to pronounce it bituminous. Because you've got, yeah, it's bituminous. I have no idea what this bituminous coal is, but the words Rana says sound exciting. If we can ride that excitement, I'm sure the image of what to do will come to mind.
そうか。主坑道を隠し坑道扱いにして封鎖し、ヒント探しと謎解きは別の場所で。
Yeah, imagine. Search this abandoned coal mine to find some black diamonds and hope that there's no cave-in. That thought comes to me as I speak. Seeing me on a roll, Paulette looks hard at me.
廃宿舎。
廃宿舎。
はあ、あぎゃんとこで宝探しとかむっちゃくちゃに楽しそうばい。でも広すぎるし、あと壊れてる建物とかも。
だな。
It's true that if a large-scale town of dormitories are all explorable, it could have been done in a day.
例えば、最も状態の良い建物のワンフロアなり、一室だけなりを使うことにするのはどうだろ
ああ、それなら管理の手間も人手も絞れるとね。管理の手間ですか。
Hatsuroku nods to herself, and then puts her hand to her ear as if holding a phone receiver.
でしたらトランシーバーなどいかがでしょう。雰囲気作りと迷子対策、両方に役立つかもしれません。
トランシーバー、実にいいな。今となっては物珍しく、かつ実用的だ。
あ、そうですよね。あの辺、携帯の電波ほとんど通じませんものね。
トランシーバーなんて見たこともなかったい。私はあるよ。揖斐川の川下り船で戦闘さんが使ったから。
That's because they're boomers.
羨ましかとー。
It doesn't receive a reception there. I'm sure that would give it more of an exploration feel. In fact, Nagi and Kamiya are already excited just by talking about the walkie-talkies. This is good. Really good. We're finding our rhythm here. It's fun just finding fun words to describe this. However, I'm curious as to why Hibiki's so quiet, so I turn to her, to which she waves her hand at me in protest.
違うんですよ、兄さん。
She clears her throat once.
考えてただけです。ちょっと別のこと。
別のこと？
ああ、別って言っても無関係ってわけじゃなくて。これって、つまり、
A silence as she tries to find the right words. Hibiki wets her lips and then sighs.
つまりこれ、術性配炭鉱一帯を丸ごと宝探しテーマパークにするってことですよね。
Exactly. Correct. Yes.
テーマパーク
It requires a lot of maintenance, though.
よかったよテーマパークば言われると、ますます行ってみたくなるたい。
テーマパークか。うん。いいな。その呼び方の方がずっといい。
それでですね。
A relieved face. Hibiki's words now come out smoother than before.
トレジャーって言葉使ったらどうかなって、私、その辺のことを考えてたんですよ。トレジャー？宝物って意味だよ、なぎちゃん。いいですね、それ。レジャーともかかる感じで。
Treasure and leisure. It's simple, but the double meaning is very good. In order to give meaning to those words, though, we'll need something before treasure.
炭鉱とか鉱山はトレジャーと合うような形で言い換えられないのでしょうか。
なら、コールマインがいいですよ。炭鉱はコールマインっても呼ばれますから。
コールマイン。いいな。お人よコールマイントレジャー。では、やや長いか。
なら、お人よ、マイントレジャー。
That doesn't sound right.
それいい！お人よマイントレジャー。
Ohito mine could work. Ohito mine treasure. Like you're using. It's hard to explain, right? Because like you're using the noun mine, but also the verb. I guess that's the double meaning. It just doesn't sound right.
う よかね。鉱山で遊ぶいう感じがようでとるたい。
Thanks for your input, Makoto.
ならば、施設名称はそれでいこう。お人よマイントレジャーで。
テーマパークならイメージキャラとかも必要ですよね。
Ohitoyo opens her sketchbook. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm happy about her being involved and all. I just wasn't quite expecting her to be this into it.
そこまで協力してくれるのか。
しますよ、そんなの何回も言って。
Hibiki starts scratching her head with the other end of her pencil.
私がエアクラ工場誘致に賛成してたのは、お人よが元気になる方法が他にないって思ってたから。
Despite her fidgeting, I sense no hesitation or bashfulness in her voice.
けど、この案ならいけそうって感じてるから。だからその意味でも兄さんに協力するんです。
そうか。それは心強い。心強いし、素直に嬉しい。
っていうかですね。
I realize that when I say it out loud, Hibiki lightly touches her lips with her finger.
この計画、お人よマイントレジャーのこと、木崎先輩にも話してみてもいいですか？
宝生木崎に。
そうなの。
The enemy? When Nagi is about to say something, Fukami grabs her and covers her mouth.
この方面の私の考え、すごく木崎先輩に影響されてます。だから。
Yeah, because she became influenced by Kisaki because Sotetsu wasn't here to influence Hibiki.
この計画がいけると判断されるのなら、宝生木崎もエアクラ工場誘致にこだわらないと。
計画への評価がどうかまではわからないですけど、もしいけるって判断なら可能性はあると思います。
うん。
As for me, I think that'd be good. That'd be great. But the one who will make the decision is Paulette, since she's the mayor and president.
どうだろうか、ポーレット。
すごくありがたいと思います。できれば私も直接お会いしたいです。
I did not expect that answer, so I ask again.
木崎とか？
Paulette nods and then turns to Hibiki. Hibiki also looks a little confused.
宝生さんの理解を得られる案にできれば、議案として議会を通るものにもなると思います。
そうか。そうだな。術戦ハイタン港は市の所有地なのだから。
Unless we gain approval from the assembly, all this talk is just armchair theory. That doubt is why Paulette is always looking at things from a wider perspective.
ということだ、響。できれば、木崎に頼んでみてはくれないか。
Vicky nods deeply to my question. Not at me, though. At Paulette.
わかりました。これからすぐに電話してみます。
Are we finally getting into something political?
今日はお忙しいところ、お時間をありがとうございます。
The Kumamoto Bank branch manager's office. Inside is Kisaki by herself. Her secretary, Urakami, isn't here today.
こちらこそ、お運びをありがとうございます。
光栄なことです。
There's a conversation between Paulette as the mayor and Kisaki as the branch manager. In that case, I will have to act the part as the mayor's secretary.
どうぞ、おかけください。
ありがとうございます。
Whoops. The moment I make that decision, I'm already doubting myself. I don't know what the timing is for when a secretary should sit down.
そう鉄、何をぼーっと突っ立っているんだい？
A sudden shift to friendly words. I can't tell Kisaki's intention. But if that's the distance she wants to set, the more polite I am, the more it may seem superficial.
いや、着席をしていいものかどうか迷ってな。
いいに決まっている。友人の兄を立たせておくほど、僕は礼儀知らずじゃないよ。
友人の兄？
There's a sign, or perhaps a hint.
響は何と言って君に面会を求めたのだ？
兄さんとポーレットさんが、キサキ先輩とお話ししたがってます、と言っていたよ。
なるほど。
I understand now about why Urakami isn't here as well.
ではこれは肩書きなしの個人と個人と個人との三者面談なのか。
Why did you say Kujin so many times?
僕の方はそのつもりだよ。
Kisaki smiles suggestively.
お互いに。その方が色々と都合いいんじゃないかと思ってね。
ご配慮ありがとうございます。
Paula's attitude doesn't change, but that's her acting naturally. Whoa. What is this angle? After hearing the agreement from Paulette, there's no need to be reserved. I sit myself down on a chair to calm down.
大まかな話は響から。
お人よマイントレジャーのことなら。面白い案だよね。お話としては。
お話としてはですか。
She is holding back, but she sounds dissatisfied. Kisaki doesn't seem to mind one bit.
まあね。現時点ではただのお話と僕は感じた。現実のものとするためのハードルが高すぎる気がして。
具体的には？
そうだね。例えば。
Kisaki stands up from her seat and makes some coffee with a coffee maker. She told us to help ourselves, so Paulette makes 2 cups and hands me one.
ポジションの問題なんてどうかな。
ポジション？
Paulette and I sit together. Across from us is Kisaki.
位置関係のポジションじゃない。立場、態度のポジションさ。
She can see everything we're thinking, but we don't know what she sees. Then what should we do?
それってどういうことでしょう。
Before I consider asking, Paulette's already started. Kisaki grins in satisfaction to that question.
例えば、いないポーレットさん。君は右田宗哲くんを随分と高く評価している。
はい。
In an innocent answer without a speck of bashfulness. To be quite honest, it makes me happy.
しかし、右田宗哲くんが仮に、そうだな、熊焼酎にはまってアル中になり能力低下したとする。
そんなこと。
仮にだよ。それに、ないと断言できる話でもない。
No one knows about the future. That's why Paulette can't protest Kisaki's theory.
能力低下が仕事のミスをも呼び起こす。周囲からも苦情が寄せられるようになる。
Paulette's cheeks puff up ever so slightly. Seeing that, she's expressing discontentment also makes me happy.
さて、その右田相鉄くんをポーレットさんは免職させるかい？
クビになんてしません。もし万が一そうなっても、相鉄くんなら必ず立ち直ってくれますから。
じゃあ切り替えて別の質問。
Kisaki twirls a pen in her hand.
僕の部下にアル中になり周囲を困らせる男がいて、僕がその男の責任を問わないとしたらどうかな。
I understand what she means. Paulette and I are the same. We both would think it'd be irresponsible in Kisaki's current example.
それがポジションを取るということ。
Kisaki's voice remains calm. Rather, it even feels somewhat sad.
人は自分が取ったポジションに固執するのさ。過去の判断を何とか正当化しようと頑張ってしまう。
客観的に見れば誤った判断だとしても。
そう。過去の判断を正当化するため、新しい過ちを重ねてさえもしまうんだ。
Paulette's brow furrows.
術前炭鉱にポジションを取った人がお人よにはたくさんいる。
The idea finally connects when she lets out that statement. I had no idea where Kisaki was going with that example until then.
そうか。そうした人たちにしてみれば、廃炭鉱は触れられたくない傷そのものなのか。
Unless it can be proven that their past decisions were the wrong ones, people will most likely try to forget the past and put a lid on it. Redevelopment would open up that lid and force them to look at it.
確かに、それはデリケートで難しそうな問題。
問題は他にもある。もっとずーっと深刻なものもね。
She purposefully interrupts me and looks as if it's a test.
これはポーレットさんに聞きたい。相鉄は少し黙っていてくれないかな。
そうだが。
An annoyed nod from Paulette. I can see it in her face. Could it be that her annoyance from earlier is lingering? But if that is Paulette's wish, I don't intend on going against it. I make a cross with my fingers and put it over my mouth. Kisaki nods satisfied and then resumes talking.
より深刻な問題はごく単純な問題さ。つまりは資金。そうだね、ポーレットさん。お人よ鉄道株式会社が事業主体となるのにはいくつかの問題がある。
Paulette's eyes turn straight at Kisaki. Straightforward, right at Kisaki.
私が市長で社長でもあることがまず問題ですね。市の所有地を私の会社の営利のためには使えない。
うん。やってしまえば公私混同甚だしくなる。
市に賃貸料を払うようなことになれば自前での資金調達が必須となってくるけれど。
難しいだろうね。鉄道債をすでに発行しているからね。
Then why not use those railway bonds? After thinking that, I realize my own ignorance. Oh, that's right. The railway bonds are...
鉄道債は借金だから。
Paulette's voice seems weak. It's a fact that she doesn't want to admit, but she forces herself to say it anyway.
事業計画に完全な賛同を得られなければ計画の説明自体が諸刃の剣になりかねない。
だね。取り付け騒ぎでも起きればお人よ鉄道のキャッシュじゃとても回らないよね。
取り付け騒ぎ。
Whoops. I spoke without knowing. But it appears that my question is valid. Kisaki answers without batting an eye.
鉄道祭には満期前にも解約できるオプションが設定してあるんだ。
満期前の解約は額面の 25% が違約金となります。ですから普通は解約なんてありえないんです。けど
The words following but aren't coming. After a few more moments, Kisaki's voice fills the silence.
会社が倒産してしまえば社債は紙くずだからね。不安が高まればそうなるよりはとの判断も出る。
A sudden sigh. Bullet nods to Kisaki and then speaks in a light-hearted manner.
解約が殺到してしまったら現金が不足します。回収にもう使っちゃってるわけですから。
なるほど。となれば現実に倒産か。噂から誠が出てしまうわけだ。あ
This isn't something that we can be carefree about. There is definitely some assemblymen who have taken the position of the Jutusen coal mine in the past and are now aircraft factory supporters. And what would happen if we carelessly brought this proposal to the assembly? The factory supporters could purposely spread rumors about some business worries. If that were to happen. Never mind the mine treasure plan. Ethereal Railway itself might go under.
ね。現実化には高いハードルが多いだろう。おまけにハードルが倒れた時の悪影響は致命的。
Kisaki's eyes look at me coldly, as if saying, "Don't interrupt anymore." This time she demands that I follow through on that promise.
わかるよね。そんなことになったら、どれほど多くの人に迷惑をかけてしまうか。
Something odd is going on with Paulette. She has gone pale and her body is shaking.
この案、それでも進めるのかい？
It's easy. The answer should come naturally, but Paulette doesn't answer right away. In that instant, it all connects. I finally understand. So this is it. Paulette must have fallen into this state when she was being heckled at the assembly. When I felt that, I searched through my memories to understand. During the hearing, Miyamoto seemed so surprised. I finally understand. You've said that so many times. Just stop saying you finally understand, okay? No, that's not entirely true. I think I was able to understand because it's me. Well, it has some deep emotional scars somewhere. And that's being brought out right now. From inside out, little by little, it tries to chip away at her logic in an attempt at forcing her to surrender.
私
But Paulette hasn't given up. Her eyes are pleading to me. In that case... Rip. As promised, I won't say anything. In exchange, I hold her hand. I'm right here. I'll support you. I try to tell her that with my eyes.
私この件持ち帰ります。再検討します。
そうか。そうだね。それが一番いいだろうね。
A smile. A very warm smile doesn't... a very warm smile doesn't seem to be from from the business end. That doesn't seem to... whatever. Kisaki then holds out her right hand to Paulette.
おかげでいい話し合いができました。ありがとうございます。
いえ、こちらこそ。
それから、相鉄にもありがと
僕もか。僕は何もしていないが。
う。いやいや、案外そうでもないよ。
Kisaki stands up while saying that. He looks at Paulette and then at me.
期待をしても悪くなさそうだと教えてもらえた。君にだけじゃなくて、君たちにだけどね。